Day 7 of the State versus Hannah Gutierrez read. This morning, we saw a few witnesses, including Joel Souza, who I think was the most impactful witness from the morning testimony. Joel testified about what the set was like, the fact that he had complimented Hannah's work, but had complimented everybody's work on some of their busier days on set. And then he talked about, of course, what happened when he and Helena Hutchins were shot inside the church on set of the movie of Rust. He talked about not being able to comprehend that this would ever be a live bullet. And he said he kept telling them at the hospital, it can't be a live round. You don't understand. This is a movie set. This can't happen. This can't happen. And that really is in line with other testimony we've heard from Dave Halls and from Ross, who was the 8-camera dolly grip. We also had the cross-examination of Sarah Zachary, where they pointed out that she has an immunity deal with the prosecution that the prosecution never mentioned on direct examination. And that immunity deal is for, if you give truthful testimony, we will not prosecute you. And it was Sarah Zachary's understanding that if her testimony was not truthful, she could be prosecuted. Lots came out on her cross-examination about what she was doing, including the fact that she had gotten into not a little argument with Hannah, but that Hannah had dropped the "see you next Tuesday" at her on the work set, and Sarah Zachary actually had wanted Hannah fired from the movie, but she tried to parse it and say she just wanted her fired from the props role. She wasn't saying anything about her armor role. And they talked about how many conversations Sarah Zachary had with people after this happened. She was talking to Alec Baldwin. He wanted to talk to her. She was talking to Seth Kinney. He wanted to talk to her. She had quite a lot of communication with people after this event. And that was interesting to see. I think the takeaway from the chat was that her testimony felt a little odd and like she was downplaying it. And then they dropped the statement in redirect that Sarah Zachary wanted to see Hannah Gutierrez go to jail for what happened here. It is the afternoon of day 7 of the Rust trial. They were, it seems, maybe waiting on a longer witness. This is my speculation, and that longer witness is probably Seth Kinney, which should be the state's last witness. The prosecution and defense and judge assured the jury that they should be getting to closing arguments the morning of March 7th, which means, to me, on Monday, the first half of the day is going to be the end of the prosecution's case, and then the prosecution will rest their case, and then we will get into the defense case for a few days. So what we learned this afternoon, we heard from the on-set medic who is an EMT. It was testimony that she saw Hannah Gutierrez and Sarah Zachary dumping ammo into the fanny pack, and it didn't seem organized or separated. She also talked about hearing the gunshot go off, treating both Joel Souza and Helena Hutchins on set, and then the defense stepped in it on cross-examination and started really slamming her about her civil lawsuit and having emotional distress in her civil lawsuit. And the prosecution got to redirect it and said, can you explain a little the emotional distress you say you're in because of the civil suit? And she started talking about how her kid and Helena Hutchins' kid are the same age, and that she knows that she couldn't save Helena because of what everyone else did on set. And it was very emotional, very strong testimony. And then the judge is like, no, that's not what I thought she was going to say. Strike that from the record. And there is no way that the jury's going to forget the distress that that witness was under, and the human cost of this case is what we heard after lunch, both from script supervisor Mamie Mitchell and from the on-site EMT, and that's where we left the day. For deep dives into the stories that I covered here, you can find them on my YouTube channel at The Emily D. Baker and The Emily Show podcast. I stream every Tuesday and Thursday. The podcast goes live on Wednesdays. And if you want to stay in the loop with everything I'm doing, receive the fastest notifications out there, and get more Law Nerd community, join me at lawnerdapp.com, our free app for iOS and Android.